Have you noticed that modern games have changed over the years? Of course you have. Now, I'm not talking about in some technical way like new graphics or accessibility options, and not in the way of how other content creators talk about with inclusion and wokeism in gaming. I think everyone's moved on from G4 at this point, right? I'm talking about when you pick up a brand new game in a series that you've been eager to play. You get all hyped up and ready to play it, and as soon as you get into it, you start screaming to yourself, why the fuck are they changing shit? Yeah, all your favorite game franchises, every new release in your favorite game series. It's getting ridiculous, and it's gonna continue whether any of us like it or not, because the big game studios obviously seem to care more about what this specific group of people feel about their game instead of the direct fans of the games they're trying to make. Now, I'm sitting here watching YouTube, enjoying funny ass content like everybody else, and I run across some BS from time to time. This topic seems to have been reinvigorated, so to speak, and instead of typing my little ass comment down in the comment sections, I think I'll just make a video on the subject. You know, put my opinion out there. Since I don't see anybody else pointing this shit out, everybody knows about how bad game journalists are. That's not a damn mystery to any of us. Yeah, we've seen this silly shit right here, but I want to stress this. This type of shit is still going on today. And in your favorite game franchises too. We still got game reviewers playing games like fucking toddlers trying to walk for the first time. It would be funny. Until you remember the fact that the game studios take these people into account when trying to manage a game being developed. You probably think the bigwigs are at fault for this. You're right. You know the journalists are at fault. You're right. But you know who else is? The play testers. Not the internal quality team. Not those guys. I understand they get put through the ringer. I'm talking about the outsiders who determine if a game is fun or not. Oh, but I know what you're thinking. The play testers help with improving the user experience. True. But they also determine the game's difficulty. Feedback that they give to the devs and the studios that convince them to make the games much easier. Sort of like putting training wheels on players who obviously played a video game or two in their lifetime. Tell you what, I'll give you some examples of some recent games. Sonic Frontiers, which I enjoy, by the way. The game falls off towards the end, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The perfect summary for this game, I would say, it's a step in the right direction. But die-hard Sonic fans will know what I'm talking about when I say this. The boosting mechanic in Sonic games have taken a huge setback in functionality. As Sonic fans, we remember that blistering ass speed Sonic Unleashed had during the day sections of that game, right? Sonic Generations with the modern Sonic gameplay? That was damn good, wasn't it? Look at it! Look at it! Yeah, you don't see this shit anymore, do you? Oh, imagine if the cyberspace levels were like this. What we got now, though? You see this shit? Hard to appreciate cyberspace knowing what you had before, right? Now, I won't fault the devs for having a hard time trying to figure out the technical part of maintaining the 60 frames per second for this. However, I think there was something else going on here. Like I said before, I think more focus needs to be put on the playtesters who test out these games. To be bluntly, they're the ones whining back to the devs that the game is too hard. The game moves too fast. They can't control Sonic because he moves all over the place. So, what do? They change the boost mechanic. They slow down the speed so the testers can see everything. They restrict Sonic's movement so they can control him better. And you wonder why most of the 2D cyberspace levels were dog shit. That's why. I know. I feel you on this. I'm right here with you, wondering why games are so catered now. I remember a long time ago, long time ago, where we had no help trying to play video games. No tutorials, no videos that we could watch. Maybe go out and buy a fucking strategy guide to figure some shit out. No, we had none of that shit. Just had to take what we were given, learn it, and figure it out. Which brings me to another point. You remember this little game called Deathloop? IGN rated 10 out of 10. Not 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10 tops. And I remember GameSpot uploaded a video about how Arcane Studios, before the game released now, had to make constant changes to Deathloop because the playtesters couldn't figure out a damn thing?
For fans, the chance to delve into a new world developed by Arcane was exciting. Internally, however, Deathloop wasn't quite garnering the same enthusiasm, with a lot of playtesters not even understanding what the game was.
Right until the last minute, we were still getting these really tough reports telling us of just baffling, frustrating, mystifying problems that we could not see coming.
What kind of up world is this?
That was kind of the intention, to just drop the player into this world with little guidance and just have them figure it out.
You know, maybe, if you think about it, Deathloop probably would have deserved a 10 out of 10 if the game didn't hold your hand through any of it, where nothing was spelled out for you, and you literally had to beat this game by thinking of it like a puzzle.
A few months after the game's gameplay reveal, Arcane shipped off an alpha build to its user research team, and feedback was, well, far from good. No one understood it. Like any of it.
They didn't understand why Juliana was hunting them, let alone if she was a friend or foe. They didn't understand that killing the visionaries broke the loop. It was unclear how gear worked and how to keep it between loops, and some players couldn't even decipher they were in a loop at all. One of the core elements to Dana's design was to give the player freedom to figure everything out themselves.
So you mean to tell me that a game called Deathloop, there were playtesters that didn't know that a loop would be involved in some way? Are you serious? Yeah, you see, players who knew all about Dishonored would have understood that you need to assassinate some people.
I was initially resistant to the idea of making this change because I really loved how nonlinear the game was, and I didn't want to backtrack. I didn't want to give an inch on that thing where it's like, okay, we introduce you to this world and we say, go wherever you want, do whatever you want. Being lost and confused is fun because of the serotonin hit of getting the answer. But the game we had made was a game where the player had no idea when that eureka moment was coming. At that point in the game, the way we had designed it is, the thing to do next is to go out in the world with no idea what you're gonna find and just stumble upon something.
And the final pieces only fell into place just days before the game was officially released. And when it was finally released, well...
Go out into the world, have no idea what you're gonna find, and then just stumble onto something. That sounds like some Elden Ring shit if you ask me. I would have loved to have played the original vision of Deathloop the way it was originally intended. It might have been possible to kill all the targets in different ways. But no, we got the playtesters to thank for making this game the most divisive game of 2021. But I guess for the overall audience, Arcane had to dumb it down, I guess. You see how big an impact playtesters have on these games? Jesus Christ, man. And to think these developers probably using the same playtesters to try out the next game, and the next game, and the next. The same people who don't know how to play a damn game. Remember this the next time a game that you get hyped for gets delayed. Looking at all the trailers and it's like, man, this game looks good graphically. What's going on here? Why is it taking so long? They have to account for the slowpokes. Now, you can agree or disagree. Doesn't really matter. I'm just some guy on the internet stating his opinion. And a pretty good one if I say so. Until next time, people.